Hello and welcome to another episode of BW Marketing World's new interview series in partnership with Kaizen, BW Marcom Power Talks, conversations that drive the next big move. This is the series where I talk to corporate communication and marketing captains about latest trends, the changing role of communications leaders, new gen strategies, and a lot more. For today's episode, I'm joined by a very special guest, Miss Nandini Chatterjee, who is Chief for Corporate Brand and Communications at Shree Cement. Welcome, Miss Chatterjee.
Thanks, Resham, for having me here today.
We were just discussing how interesting AI is becoming in every sector across the board. For today's dialogue, we will also discuss how AI can transform the way brands communicate, making messaging more personalized, real time, and data driven. We will also see how the traditional norms, the traditional strategies will make change when we talk about online reputation management, when we talk about crisis management. Your insights on how there can be opportunities, there can be challenges of AI that brings to the table, and how businesses can stay ahead in the fast changing world completely.
That's a
Now,
lot.
given that you have
That's a lot, Resham.
that's correct. That's correct. Given that you have invested a long time in this sector, tell us what has changed in the recent past. If I kind of push you, tell me three major transformation that you must have observed in the recent past.
I think one which a lot of people, I'm sure, have spoken about is AI, and you also started with that. It has taken all of us by storm, and we are all trying to understand what does it mean for us, how can we use it in the best way possible, and also I think we're all trying to understand what are the risks associated with it. How can we minimize it? So that is one. So technology, I guess, remains at the bottom as a foundation of a lot of things we're doing, and that evolution is something which is impacting and which will continue to impact the work we do. But I think one or two more things that I see changing, and which is for the better. I think this function, the PR comms function, is increasingly becoming more and more strategic, and which is really very good. You find that the comms people, and I saw that on one of my last podcasts on comms and conversations, where we had Carsten Dalton from Coca-Cola talking about it. He said it's important for a future public affairs person to be able to understand the local context and to be able to understand the geopolitical context, to be able to understand the various trends that are there which are impacting, and then to be able to connect all the dots so that you can be in a good position to advise your leadership on what is the best way forward when it comes to building reputation. So that strategic input is where I see increasingly comms and PR professionals are moving towards and are taking it up and doing a good job. And another thing that I'm seeing increasingly is uh, the fact that you need to be curating experiences for your consumers, which are not just informing them, but which are entertaining, which make them part of the story, which they want to be actually sharing on their social media handles so that they in turn become ambassadors for your brand. And the MasterCard CMO, Raja Ramana, had actually written about it in detail as to how these curated experiences are going to be the way to go forward. So these are some of the things I see happening, and comms professionals are taking to it.
One important point that you mentioned is a professional needs to be completely aware about the micro, the macro, the detailing, and the new way of strategizing. And that is something that we're looking forward to. Now, taking you to share your insights on how crisis management has changed, has evolved over the years. Crises have also changed, have evolved their way, their shape and sizes and forms.
Yeah.
The solutions to it has also changed. Tell us about that. What is your view on that, and how professionals are kind of pushed to navigate through that?
Yeah. See, crisis remains a crisis. You know, if there is a sensitive situation, the underlying facts of how to handle it remain the same. You know, you need to know the facts firstly. You need to be agile. You need to have a core response team in place. You need to have scenario planning in place. You need to have an escalation matrix in place. I mean, all that remained the same. What has happened, which I'm sure you also would appreciate and we all are managing, is the fact that now you have the digital platform. Anybody can be writing anything. So the magnitude of crisis, because of all the platforms and the number of people who can write and say anything anytime, and it can just, unfortunately, what is not good goes viral and what is good takes its own time, you know, so things can just go viral, which was not what was happening earlier. You know, you would wait for it had you had far more time to react, let me put it that way. So I think more important today is that three things come to my mind. One, when you have a crisis on a digital platform, one should really weigh in terms of reacting immediately, because you still need to get your facts right. You know, by reacting immediately, you just might end up aggravating the crisis more. So that foundation still remains the same. But more important is that how do you manage your reputation in the long term? Because if your reputation you have handled and built on it, you know, with some of the stronger companies, do so. If there is a blip as a crisis, your reputation can help you wade through that a little better. And some of the ways which the digital platforms are today providing are that you can actually have people, for example, share reviews about your company, and positive reviews, so that if there is a crisis, those reviews are there to bolster or to uphold your reputation, you know. So while the digital platform has increased the scale or quantum of management when it comes to crisis, but it has also provided its own set of solutions, which comms professional or a PR professional today is more than familiar with, and is positioned to use it, with the objective being that how can you build the reputation so that when it hits you a little lesser.
Very well explained, very well explained. And what is your view on there's no bad publicity, every publicity is a publicity after all. What is your view on this? That given that you have invested your time in marketing in comms, tell us your view on this.
I I can't say that every publicity is good publicity. You know, when you go through situations, and if I look at 2009 in PwC, it took us years to build the brand back. And it's just that if you know the facts, you know you are in the right, and where you are in the wrong, you appreciate you are in the wrong, you kind of you put that out, and you say, okay, this is what we are doing to put things right. And then you go and put things right, and you tell the world what you've done to put things right, and you're honest, transparent about it. But it takes a long time to get the brand back on the wheels, you know. So i I wouldn't say that all publicity is good publicity. It's a huge task to put things back on the ground, back as where they were. It is very easy for the brand to drop in reputation when bad publicity hits you. So I wouldn't wish any brand to go through bad publicity.
Now we were just pinpointing on AI, how it is coming in, what are some of the possibilities and opportunities that we see in today's time. A lot of PR professionals and a lot of comms people, and rather than, I mean, despite all of this, all across the brands, all across the sectors, everybody is trying to experiment with AI and get rid of their mundane tasks. Now, tell me, what scope of challenge do you see when AI comes in use? When we see PR professionals, communications professionals using it, what scope do you see of challenges?
I think everybody's understood a good professional, I would say, has understood that you need to check what is AI feeding you, and the word as often tossed around is that it is hallucinating. So you have to use it effectively. You cannot be using it for anything and everything and not putting it in your bit. I mean, if you have the experience, you first put your own thoughts. You use it as a research, but you need to validate the research. You need to see what is it cuffing out. So again, you AI, it's a tool, and any tool you need to know how to use it effectively.
Do you feel we can use and imbibe AI in our strategy? I mean, can AI help us maintaining our ethical and transparent way of communication?
Ethics and AI are two different things to my mind. AI is a tool to help you do what you're doing. So like if I have an intern, I will ask the intern that, okay, let's say I have to write an article on something. I would typically ask the intern to do some research, collect this information, come back to me, and then I would add my experience to it and write an article. A hypothetical example. Now you have AI, and with the right prompts, you can ask, let's say, the AI to do that research and cuff it out to you. But at the end of the day, you're going to use your own experience to see what is relevant out of it and then write the article. You might flow it back if you want some checks or whatever, but it is your experience you're going to use. Ethics is a totally different cup of tea. Ethics is, it's a cultural issue. Ethics is something that an organization has it as a culture, and it's the tone from the top. And then whatever you communicate, your messages, it is easier for the com professionals than to be ethical about it. So it has nothing to do with AI. It has to do with the individuals, with the human beings, with the culture of the organization.
What is one big area that you see AI can come in and help in a magical way or revolutionary way?
I think that time will tell. Every time you use it for something, use it for something new, you say, oh, great. And then after some time, like you have the AI agents now, you say, oh, great. So tomorrow you'll have something else which will come out and you'll say, oh, great. So there are so many things. Every other day you find there is something wonderful which keeps on popping up. So I think this we are on the revolution journey, and I am really nobody to say what would be the fantastic revolution. The technology experts who are spending their entire life just thinking about what revolution to bring about, we are users. And as comms professionals, I think our job is to see that we remain, like you said, we remain ethical, we remain accurate in what we are putting out, we remain humane at the end of the day. You can have technology over there, but you need to understand human beings. And that is maybe tomorrow AI can do that also, and I understand that is where it is inching towards. But today, that is something that you and I can do. So those are things that we bring to the table, and let us see when AI is able to do that better than us.
Interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. Before we get on to what's happening at Shree Cement, what are some of the strategies that you are applying and working on? I would want your send on how leadership role is evolving. You've been in the leadership role in the last 2 decades. Uh, there has been a conversation going on whether uh, the distinction between the corporate communications role and a marketing role. So being merged and being reported to a marketing head is being debated, is being looked at. Tell me, what is your view and how do you look at it? A lot of senior corporate communication leader do kind of stress upon that we should have a direct association with the top boss, with the CEO of the company. How are you seeing the evolution of the role and the leadership role also?
So I've done both, huh? And I think it depends upon the organization you are in. So in PwC, I was heading the marketing and the communications. I mean, I started with heading communications and went on to the marketing role also. So in a B2B organization, where I was working with all the competencies and all the sector leaders on their marketing outreach. and we had a very large team, because then you need to have a large team, and you are actually interacting like account servicing with each of the competencies to understand. And you look at it in a 360-degree way, which is whether it's events or it is media or it is marketing. You don't do too much of advertising, so it's a lot of stuff is it's kind of not so in terms of budgets, it's not so large. It's more of below the line, like I said, it's more of advertising, it's more of events, media, thought leadership. That those are the kind of things you are doing, and digital, and using your own social media handles. So so that's a different cup of tea. But when it comes to a B2C company, where let's say you have to reach out to the smallest of district around India, and you have to see how you're going to communicate with every person in the smallest of talukas. So whether it is wall paintings or it is hoardings or it is local events and all, then that's a totally different cup of tea when it comes to marketing. It is not, then it is product selling at that each ground level. So in that case, marketing is not doing reputation management, it is selling the product over there. So it depends upon where you are, what is the function. When it is reputation management, you are going to be involved with the chairman of the company, because the chairman is looking at the reputation, overall reputation of the corporate brand, right? But when it comes to marketing, supporting the sales team to sell, then it's a different ball game. So you have to see where you are, what is the requirement, what is the ask of the function, and that is where these functions either come under one umbrella or they remain separate.
So what you're saying is there cannot be one size fits all. It
Yeah.
depends
Yeah.
organization to organization and
Absolutely.
function to function.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fair point, fair point. Now tell me, I'm shifting your interest on ORM, online reputation management. We look at that. Can you tell us in 2025 what should be a strategy? What should be three must-dos when we look at the ORM strategy in today's times?
See, online reputation management, like any reputation management per se is a tough task. Online has become even tougher, because of what the multiple platforms, like I said, and so many people, as I said at the beginning, who can just go and do whatever they want. But I think two three things which come to my mind, one which I already spoke about: how can you get your customers to leave positive reviews on your social media handles, so that your potential consumers or customers can also get to evaluate you based on more credible reviews, which people have read. And the second thing, which I think people are using very effectively today to manage, and which is in your control, where you can control the narrative and the messaging, is your own social media handles. You know, so that is where you can put out and what you want to put out. But here is the catch. There is so much of content which is reaching people. How do you put it in a way that is interesting, where your customers don't just kind of move it forward? They it's not content which they feel is just content hitting them, but like I said, it is a shareable moment. It's an experience they want to participate in. It is something that interests you. How do you get their eyeballs? That is where your talent lies. So how do you use your own social media handles and your website more effectively? How do you get people to move from what you're putting out on your handles, maybe to your YouTube, to consume more of your content, to your website, to actually have a call to action over there, where you are able to get them and move them down the funnel, the brand funnel. That is where talent actually lies.
I would also want you to tell us something on how you are dealing with the younger set of the professionals coming into the workforce. There's been a lot of conversations all around. We're seeing leaders talking about it. How are leaders tackling Gen Z workforce at their end? What has been your experience like?
I don't know about tackling Gen Z workforce. I mean, are the people who need to be tackled or no? I don't think so. I mean, everybody's, again, the mood is understand people. Now, understanding people, whether it's an art or a science, I would leave that open to discussion. But I think that is very important. So whether you're understanding your own people who are working for you, your peers, your leaders, your customers, your stakeholders, your media journalists, it's all about empathizing and understanding with them, and then figuring out collectively, what works, what doesn't work, and going with that. Yes, you need to have an objective. You know where you're trying to reach. You have to figure out how to reach over there, and how do you bring everybody together to work. I maybe everybody has a different way to go about it. I have, in my work experience, I've found being honest, it works. Being transparent, it works. Uh, Maybe there are some things you don't need to be transparent about. Okay, don't talk about it. But it normally works to have straight conversation with people, because people are smart. People understand if you are not being straight, and you're trying to take somebody for a ride. People understand, and maybe once they may not understand, but after some time they will come to, and then they're never going to trust you again. So if building trust has to be the bottom line of engaging with anybody, whether it is your juniors, whether it is Gen Z, whether it is your peers, whether it is your bosses, anybody. How do you build trust? And it if that doesn't happen, then you are wasting your time. Things are
That
not going
sounds
to happen.
very basic, but it's very fundamental, very important.
Yeah, it is.
I appreciate. Uh, Now, I mean, tell me, what would be your one piece of advice to the young professionals after investing 21 years at PwC? You have now joined Shree Cements. You have invested some of your time here also. Tell me, what would be your one piece of advice to the industry, to the younger set of people?
Okay, I think working hard, I don't need to advise. Work is important. I would say you must read. It's very important to read, because if you don't read, uh, and it's not necessary that you're reading a newspaper. I still may be doing that. I would read 3 4 newspapers a day. That doesn't matter. You have to figure out how you're getting information. In fact, I remember Mr. A.K. Bhattacharya, the editor of Business Standard, said a very nice thing. He said that the newspapers are actually, they are sifting for you what is important, so they put that on the front page for you. So they are actually making things easier for you on what is important information for you to pick up and absorb. So it helps to read newspapers. I think they're very important in our daily life. So reading is important. But I think the other thing I would say is, be serious, but don't be so serious. Have fun. You need to be enjoying your work. If you're not enjoying your work, um, how do you sustain things? You need to be happy about your work. It should not be daunting on you that, oh my god, another week has started, oh, it's another Monday. No, if you are enjoying your work, okay, Monday I'm raring to go, because I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to close this. Oh, what fun! If I do this, is what's going to happen, because I'm enjoying it. So I think you asked me when we started, and we were just chit chatting, and you said, what do you like about your work? Which one of my work do I like? And I think my response to you was that I can't pinpoint what I like, because I enjoy it all. And I do, and I've been fortunate that if I look at wherever I have worked, I've had good bosses. They've given me the freedom to work. I actually felt I was working like an entrepreneur all along. I mean, if I look at PwC, I started from one person. I built it to the team of 55. It takes time. There are challenges. There are roadblocks. The pleasure is that you navigate the roadblocks. So it's like a roller coaster ride. When you're going up, you're like, oh, it's so, but when you reach the top, it was slow climb, but then you're on a high, and then it's just fun. Then you go yippee down, it's good fun. So enjoy it while it is there. And I used to tell my team members, and at the end of a year, you must evaluate yourself. Have I grown? And if you've not grown, then you're not doing justice to yourself. And that is a time you need to either introspect, or you need to have a discussion with your people manager, and figure out what you need to be doing. And if you find this is not happening over time, also if you're not growing, then you seriously need to think and consider, am I at the right place? Because at the end of the day, you need to grow, you need to enjoy, and you need to make the full of your potential. And you don't know your full potential, because as opportunities come your way, you keep trying new things and you
And there
find,
are
"Oh, I
many.
didn't
Yeah.
realize I was good at this. I can excel in this also." So you need to have more and more opportunities, and don't be worried about taking new opportunities. I remember I had in my team somebody who was, let's say, doing internal comms, and I pulled the person into media relations. And I remember this person telling me, "But I don't know this." I said, "But I'm there behind you, and I will groom you, and you have nothing to fear. You have nothing to worry, and you come along. And you are intelligent. It's common sense. You're good at managing people, and you will pick it up. What is difficult? There is nothing difficult about it if you give it a shot, and if you have the right ecosystem around you, you can pick up and do anything. But do enjoy what you're doing."
All of this makes the comms role a lot easier and tempting to me now. Just before we finally wrap up, Miss Chatterjee, what is that one thing you are looking forward to? What is that one thing that is exciting to you right now?
Oh, okay. I think my passion project, which is my vodcast comes in conversations, which I have been running now for 2.5 years, where I get a consultant and a practitioner together to talk about various aspects. I'm trying to get some global people now on, so that is something that I'm also doing. And I'm there is another new angle to it that I'm exploring. Maybe by April, May, I will kick that off also. So that's a new personal pet project which I am also wanting to start. And of course, after I finish with you, I have uh, uh, my painting. I throw colors on canvas, and just love seeing the way they bloom on canvas. So I have one which I started 2 weeks back, which I'm hoping this weekend I will be able to finish. So again, it all boils down to make the most of every minute of your life, enjoy, and frankly, work doesn't seem like work then it's just good fun.
Very interesting, very interesting. I enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much, Miss Chatterjee, for making time for this. I'm looking forward to more such conversations. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Resham. Lovely speaking with you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Take care.
Bye.